Hello, Vinny. Hello, Vinny, Vinny. Vinny, Fanny, Vinny. Vinny, Manilly. Widdy, bitty, bitty, bitty. Who's my little baby boy? Is it Vinny? Vinny's my baby boy. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is, he is. Hello. Welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name is Jason Newland. Hello and hi and welcome. Blah, 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 blah. So, please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. This is the place to come to listen to a human voice. No AI here, my dear. No AI. Because if it was AI, it'd be good. it'd be worth listening to. I'm just thinking maybe that's the only thing I can really offer going forward is a genuine human voice. Because as time goes by, it's already happening on YouTube, loads of AI voices, even AI people. So, it's going to be harder and harder to find actual humans on YouTube or on podcasts, because people are starting to use the old avatar versions of themselves. AI, what was it called? They call themselves, this is my AI avatar. And looks just like them, sounds just like them. Some of the words are not pronounced properly, but I'm sure that will also improve over time. But it's all real, baby. So, yeah. I will never be an avatar. No. So I'm not sure what else I can really bring to the table, as it were. What can I bring to the picnic for the ants to eat? I don't know. This is B. It's 6:30 in the morning. Well, actually, it's 47 minutes past 6 into morning on Tuesday, the whatever it is, 15th of July. This is supposed to be Q&A, not Q&A Friday, blimey. Monday's Boring Objects, because I haven't done one yet. So everything's running late. Everything's running late. I've got so much to tell you, but I can't. It's just, there has to be a line between, because I've been talking quite a bit about Uncle Sausages. He's not doing great, to be honest, and there's some funny bits mixed in with not funny bits, and I don't want to appear as if I'm mocking him or making fun of him or making light of a super serious situation, because I'm not. But at the same time, this is also part of my life right now, what I'm going through, what I'm dealing with. And what I'm dealing with is nothing compared to what he's dealing with. I'm just like not even a fraction, just a tiny percentage. But at the same time, but on the other side of the coin, but on the flip side, but on the other hand, it's definitely, it hasn't been easy to be an observer of this, but not just an observer, a concerned observer, a participating player in this particular drama, I guess. And there's only really 3 players. There's Uncle Sausages. 3 players, as in that you can see in this particular television episode. There's Uncle Sausages, the main character. There's Auntie Landlord, the co-star. And there's me. I should have a name for myself, shouldn't I? Weirdo neighbour, maybe? Beardy neighbour. Could be, I don't know, I should think of something. I've got names for everyone else, I should have a name for myself. So, but there's also, of course, there's Uncle Pasty, but he's in another country, so he's just as active, but he's behind the scenes, he's on the phone. So he talks to Uncle Sausages regularly, and they're very close, closer than I'll ever be with him. So, they've known each other for, 70 years or something like that. So, and he's known Auntie Landlord for over 40 years. He's only known me for 10 years. And although we've always got on, and I spent hundreds of hours talking to him, more than hundreds, well, hundreds and hundreds probably, but I think I kind of seem to get more involved in his life after Luke left. Maybe I just had more time. Maybe there's something in me that just wants to help people. I need to get rid of that, don't I? I need to sort that out. Get therapy. But once Luke left, I had 3 months of looking after Logie, and there was all the fallout from that whole situation. So, I was occupied with that. But then when things calmed down a bit, I guess, yeah, because quite weird, because we had another neighbour move in, and then there was some stuff there due to illness and having to call ambulances, and so I was kind of, again, I started to be kind again. I try my best not to be kind to people, but it just seems to happen sometimes. It's like an illness, I think. And then in the summer, so that was in like beginning of the year, and then another neighbour who was going through stuff, I was trying to be there for her. And then in the summer, a neighbour moved in, or not summer, probably April, May, I don't know when it was, but they moved into Luke's old flat. And I tried to help her. Well, I did help her. This was all last year. So that took up a bit of time. And then in coming to the end of last year, Uncle Sausages had a lot of problems with his flat and with, I'm going to use the word over collecting. He's a big collector of stuff, and you know, if you've ever heard me talk to before, I've got a real admiration for people that are passionate about what they do. It's, you know, people that collect things, people that are just, I admire people who go to bed looking forward to the next day. You know, people that wake up with enthusiasm about the day ahead. That, for me, is kind of like the ideal life. If you can find something that you're passionate about, that you absolutely love doing, that, I mean, you know, at the very least doesn't hurt anyone else. You know, I want to do something that causes harm to others. But if you can find something that helps other people, that's, for me, that's the thing that is yeah. That's a little potato on top of the cake, you know. It's my nan, she was Irish. Potatoes on everything. Nan, this is a lovely birthday cake, but why is there potatoes on top? Shouldn't it be cherries? Or some kind of strawberries or something? Anyway, so, you know those little potatoes you get in tins, tiny little things. Very soft. They taste okay, but on a cake. She didn't pour the juice on. She used to put that in all glasses for us to drink. Potato juice. You get used to it after a while. And I was just happy just to get out of the cupboard to drink it. I wasn't locked in a cupboard. What am I talking about? So, not by her. So, going back. So, she, he, when, though, thy, we, thee. What was I talking about? It wasn't potatoes. Or to be passionate about something. And if it's something, I mean, this is my personal view. Finding something that not you, but whoever, that we're, a person, is passionate about, that also helps others, is, to me, that's the ideal. In fact, I would argue there's nothing higher than that in some ways. To wake up every day excited about helping other people. Wow. That's just phenomenal. Now, there's different ways, of course. I mean, I like to, well, I'm doing this to help people, I hope, but it's, I'm not a paramedic, I'm not a doctor or nurse, care worker, I'm not a firefighter, I'm not police, I'm not a traffic warden. I'm not a traffic warden. Because, you can say, oh, what do you mean traffic warden? Yeah, but if you're in a place and someone's parked on the pavement and a traffic warden comes along, that person might think twice about parking on the pavement again if they get a ticket, which means your elderly your elderly relative, or an elderly person might avoid a fall because they can actually walk on the pavement or the sidewalk, or whatever you want to call it, that bit of the side of the road for pedestrians, not vehicles. Bless. It's weird though, because it's one of my little pet bears. Pet bears? Pet annoyances. Pet There's something about it. Parking on the pavement. I don't even know what it... I think it's like, why am I so concerned about other people not being able to walk on the pavement? About people in pushchairs, or in wheelchairs, sorry. Or, because it's hard to cross the road in a wheelchair. I think my problem is I think too much, possibly. I know I do. But I start imagining what it's like to be in that situation. Now, I can't put myself in another person's shoes. I don't know what it feels like emotionally, another person's emotions. I don't understand people generally, However, if I imagine myself in a wheelchair, and the way my back's going these days, I'm wondering, because I've had some proper back problems the last few weeks, but I'm wondering how much of that is due to stress and due to all the travelling I'm doing, because I'm not used to doing all that, and a different kind of... I don't think my sleep habits are probably just due to what's going on. I'm having some pretty strange dreams at the moment. But, so if I was in a wheelchair, I know very simply that it's very hard to cross a road, especially a road that's got lots of parked cars, whether they're on the pavement or not. So it's difficult to cross a road because you can't see really if any cars are coming. Can't see both sides because at the height you are, the car is in the way. So if you're standing up, you have the same problem with a van or a lorry. But with a general car, or a 4x4 maybe, but with a general car, you can kind of see over it if you're average height, which I'm not. I'm below average height, but I can just about see. But if there's a van there, it's very difficult to manoeuvre to cross over to feel safe enough to cross. But what I do have is, as a backup, I can move quite quickly, reverse or move forward quite quickly, which someone in a wheelchair perhaps doesn't have that option. I mean, some would use that argue, yeah, but wheels are better than legs. Speed-wise, I mean. But, okay, I mean, cars go faster than someone running, doesn't it? Or a bicycle. I don't know how fast they can go backwards. I don't know why I'm talking about that. But what I'm saying is, I can kind of imagine what it would be like if I was in a wheelchair trying to cross the road, or not being able to get onto a pavement, not being able to carry on the journey because someone's parked on the pavement. But I can also imagine that I would scratch the hell out of that car and I would get through anyway. So even if there's hardly any room, I would just squeeze myself through and completely damage the car. And or maybe put a few adaptations onto the wheelchair, like a drill or some kind of saw, something like that, so I can just saw the car in half. But that's a good thing about imagination, and you can think about silly things like that. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it. I will, but not now. I think I probably would. I wonder if I'm going to be a really, really cantankerous old man, like a real moaner. I don't know. I've noticed the last 3.5 weeks, or whatever it is, that personalities can change. I know that anyway. I mean, my personality changes continuously. But I've never seen it. No, it's not true. I have seen it in illness before. I saw it a little bit with my nan, to be fair. And I saw it but it was more subtle with her. I think I noticed it more because I had a very, very strong bond with her. But I could see the changes. She seemed, if anything, she seemed a bit more aware, or started to notice things a bit more. Things that she used to just ignore. She knew, but she ignored it. And I think when my nan, as she got older, she started to be more maybe sensitive, or at least allowed herself to experience those feelings that before she'd just brush off. Yeah. I definitely saw her moan. Never saw her moan during my... Okay, that's not totally true. But the first time I saw her moan, really, was when I was 33. That's the first time. So I went on a holiday with her. Well, like a 5-day Isle of Man trip. I don't know if going to the Isle of Man can ever be classed as a holiday, but it was a journey anyway. We went there, and yeah, she was grumpy, but then I was as well. We didn't we didn't get on so well. Occasionally, we clashed a couple of times. That's the only time since the age of 7 that me and her ever clashed. It was just we were. I think there's a similarity between us. Obviously, we share the same blood and all that. She's my grandmother, but there seemed to be that she was taken out of her comfort zone. I was taken out of my comfort zone. See, my dad, he was fine. But I was used to being on my own. My nan was used to being on her own. It was not necessarily what she wanted, but she got used to it. And she still see people, visitors and stuff. My dad would go and see her regularly, and I'd see her and everything like that. But she was still used to having her own space, watching her own television, watching what she wanted to watch on TV, not having to cater for other people's needs in her own personal time. And the same with me, since the age of 16, really. Well, I say 14 because I had my own TV, but I still didn't have control over the TV in the house, the main house where I lived. So I've had control pretty much of the television since the age of 16. Although there have been periods when I've shared a TV. So that was only for a short time. But outside of that, I've been the boss of the television. Which might sound a bit weird, but the kind of life that I've had, television's been quite important because I didn't think of it as company. But I suppose in a way it has been. Because I've always been single. I had the odd girlfriend along the way, but I've never been. Yeah, I've never really been in a committed relationship. Not really. I've never been engaged or. Well, to be fair, I've never really been engaged in the relationship. Not really emotionally. But I never had that, building a life with someone. It's too late now, but, when I was younger, and I kind of like the idea, but one of the things I think about having to sort of make it on your own is there is a degree of selfishness, I think, for me, is kind of grown. Or maybe not selfishness, maybe control. But I like to control things, but only my things. There's not one part of me wants to control other people. Apart from, people parking on the pavement. But that's still, I know, I don't want to control people. I want people to do it off their own esteem. I'd like people to just realise that parking on the pavement is a really, really... it's just wrong. Wrong. It's weird, I tell you what, yeah. I think if a driver saw a person in a wheelchair, coming towards down the road, and they decided to park on the pavement, this driver, would they park knowing that that wheelchair is coming towards them? Probably not. Mind you, I talk to people in wheelchairs because I see them as human, and I see them because I think a lot of them feel that they're invisible. They told me that. I said, "Who said that?" Well, because I like to be childish, and one of my local neighbours, he said that he got into an argument with someone because they were parked on the pavement. And it was a delivery driver. But where he lives, there's plenty of room. They don't need to park on the pavement. It's a cul-de-sac. There's no one driving to the end. And even if they did, they could still get round. And the driver said, tough. Didn't care. I mean, I've only got his side of the story. That's the old saying, isn't it? There's three sides to the story. There's both sides, and then there's the truth. So it's kind of like, I don't know. The amount of times, I remember when I was involved in the comedy club, and I would see somebody, they'd have an argument with me, or they'd have a conversation that they weren't happy about, a customer. And then the manager would come over. I'd call the manager over. And then their explanation to the manager of the conversation was very different to what just occurred. They missed out a lot. Anything that made them look bad was missed out. And I've noticed that in situations where I've dealt with someone and then asked them if I can speak to the manager, if I can take it a bit further. Not a complaint about them, but just, because I don't really do that, but more, I will complain about them, but I won't complain to their manager about them. I'll just moan for the next 40 years on a podcast. Possibly. Oh yeah, so the manager, they go up to the manager and I listen, and they give their own version of what I've said. Like completely, almost like it's a different conversation. And the manager comes and says, "Oh, so we can't do that now." Like, it's just like you don't even have the information, because that person didn't even tell you correctly what the conversation was about. Now, I understand that they can't necessarily walk up to their manager and verbatim explain every single thing that was said. But to miss out huge chunks of love seems, it's something I've noticed. Yeah. So personality changes has been quite a weird one, because I know I've got personality disorder and bipolar, so my personality can change quite rapidly at times, and also with the mood swings and stuff. But I kind of get it. And with Uncle Sausages, there was some stuff going on, and he was getting told that he was paranoid. He was being paranoid, and he was getting upset with that word. And so I kind of came from from a mental angle. And I tried to explain to him, well, this is my personal opinion, that everyone has a bit of paranoia sometimes. I'm very aware of what it's like to have paranoia, because I have paranoia. I get paranoid. It's part of my condition. I'm not paranoid all the time, but I do have periods. So I do understand, but at the same time, I'm open to the idea that maybe it is paranoia. And it's not. It's just part of the condition. And with his Uncle Sausage's condition, his body's not. It's not working properly. That's an understatement. So his blood's not being filtered. So chemicals, stuff like ammonia and things that normally get filtered out of the blood or out of the body is not. So that can go into the brain. It can cause confusion, hallucinations, all kinds of stuff. Unfortunately, I've done a lot of research into this over the last 3.5 weeks. So I've been studying this subject. It's weird. I know way more than I thought I'd ever know about the liver, to be honest. I had no idea what it all did. Never cared. I just as long as it. My attitude with the internal organs is, I'll leave you alone if you leave me alone. Don't bother me and I won't bother you. It's like I try and stay friendly with all the parts of my body, because I know how amazing the body is, but it's too amazing for me to comprehend. Really, personally, maybe it's my lack of intelligence, maybe, but I can't really comprehend that this is going on inside me without any effort from me. The idea is, the fact is, your body loves you. That's the weird thing about it. Your body does all this to keep you healthy. Does all the different things that's going on right in this second that I'm talking to you. Blood circulation, the heart, and all that stuff. All that gooey stuff is out of my conscious awareness. And the only thing I can really be aware of, I suppose, is breathing. But again, when people say, when you do like meditation or exercising and someone might say to you, remember to breathe. I've never forgotten to breathe once. My whole life, I've always remembered to breathe. In fact, I don't need to remember to breathe. Because you can't not breathe. Like on purpose, it's just impossible. You can hold your breath. That was me holding my breath, by the way. That's how long I can hold my breath. That's it. But it's not really in our control, that stuff. In a sense of breathing is going to happen. Just like all the other stuff. The bodily functions. Which... The thing is, I don't really want to know what's going on inside. It's a little bit like, okay, I don't want to know what happens to the poo when I flush the toilet. I'm happy it's gone. I wave goodbye like we all do. maybe say a little prayer, and then flush it away. But I don't really want to know all of the in-depth stuff. And to be honest with you, I'm not that interested in the birth process either. So I just want to do a poo. I don't want to think about all that's going on inside me to produce that little poo baby before I give birth. I just like to just let my body just get on with it, and then poo it out, and look forward to the next poo, I guess. No, I don't mean like, oh, can't wait to do a poo, but just move on. Don't really think about it. But I do sometimes wonder, maybe I should have took a bit more notice about internal stuff. I guess I mean anatomy, I suppose, if I really give it the correct term. Anatomy. Sounds weird, doesn't it? Weird name. Anatomy. How's your anatomy? My anatomy's fine, thanks. Yours? Yeah, my anatomy's alright. Or if he was in this country, how's your anatomy? Not too bad. What about you? Yeah, it's been worse. Not too awful. Still alive. So I tried to explain to Uncle Sausages, not in an educational way, like, let me educate you. I've heard people say that. It's like, don't ever say that to someone. Honestly, especially not in this country, don't ever say to someone, let me educate you. Wow. No, that's not going to go down well. That's such a talking down to someone, isn't it? Just like, it's basically saying, you're not educated, I'm now going to educate you. You don't know about this subject, I'm now going to teach you this subject, whether you like it or not. Ooh, no. That's a no-no. We don't really do that in this country. I don't know if it's done anywhere, but I've seen it online, I've seen it on TV, and oh, no. No. That's a no. Anyway, let me educate you. I tried to explain, because Uncle Sausages asked me about the bipolar. This was a couple of weeks ago, which is weird because generally he's focused on sport. He absolutely adores Vinny. So he asks about Vinny every time I see him, although like at the moment normally I'm with Vinny when I see him. Or if he knocks on my door, if he comes in here, or if we talk in the hallway, Vinny's there getting excited. Or running between the flats, going into his flat and running around hunting for stuff. But we haven't really talked much about the bipolar or anything like that. And he sat down a couple of weeks ago, I think it was outside the hospital grounds, sitting on a bench. This wasn't the day that I got attacked by what did I get attacked by? A duck. A duck. This is totally true. I was sitting there. I felt this thing starting to push against my groin. I thought it was Vinny for a second. I know it's weird. Vinny wasn't even with me, but I'm just so used to him doing weird things. And because sometimes he does that. If I'm in a chair, he'll start like jumping up because he wants me to do something. And I looked down, and it was a duck pecking at me bits. Gently. It's a very gentle lover. This this penguin. And it wasn't that occasion, it was a different one. I think we were sitting on a different desk. What it was like, not a desk, it's a bit like, they're very similar to what you get in a beer garden. Like a bench with some chairs or seats attached to the bench, wooden. So we were sitting there and he started asking me about the bipolar, because he didn't really know much about it, and of course it's going to be different for every single person. We're all different, we all experience things different. And I tried to explain to him what it's like briefly, and he actually seemed relatively interested in the answers to the questions that he was asking me. And I was surprised at that, because normally, as I said, he likes to talk about sport or politics. So politics is the second thing, sport is the main thing, but he loves sport, but he gets animated, not necessarily in a good way, when it comes to politics. That's the thing that he gets a little bit agitated by. So I keep away from politics anyway. I'm not, because I don't argue with people. I don't see the point of arguing with anybody. Even if it's a friendly argument, I don't do it, because I just can't see the point. He did say to me, "Oh, you're just sitting on the fence. You're being wishy-washy. Why don't you just, take a stand or a position or a stance, whatever you want to call it?" And I said, because, well, first of all, I just don't care that much about it, and I also don't care what your opinion is. Which seemed to upset him, so I said, well, not in a bad way, it's just an opinion. What I think is an opinion, what you think is an opinion, and opinions mean very little to me. Other people's opinions, when it comes to things like politics or religion or anything like that, just opinions. And I think it threw him off a little bit, because and I said, I'm not even interested in my own opinion. It's just arguing for the sake of arguing, and what's the point? Where's the outcome? Do I win a new car if I win? No. Nothing. I mean, I'd argue with you if I thought that at the end of it, and if I won the argument, I'd grow an extra inch. But no. Or if I got taller. But no. So, I tried to explain to him, this is recently, about there's no shame in having a bit of paranoia every now and then, and to be confused, because it's the condition and the medication can both cause confusion for him, potentially. But the confusion's also causing combativeness. Not sure what the correct word is. And argumentativeness. And, as I said, I don't argue with anyone. If someone feels the need to argue, then they're, I would say potentially they're insecure about their own belief system. Because if they really need to argue, I think if you have an opinion on something and you need other people to have that same opinion, then I wonder about how secure and how strongly you hold that opinion if there's that need for other people to have the same opinion. Yeah. I just thought that now. I don't know. I might be meowing up the wrong tree there. I don't know. Scratching up the wrong litter box. I don't know. It just... howling at the wrong moon. What? What does that even mean? Do I need other people to have the same beliefs as me? No. No, I don't. If anything, one of my goals in life is to have fewer and fewer beliefs and opinions. As far as, when I say beliefs and opinions, I'm talking about stuff that I will argue and I will defend with everything I've got. You know, a belief that I will defend with my honour. I don't have many of them. And also, you know, I look back and I think, well, how much of these beliefs that I have are mine? And how many have I just been indoctrinated into, been, you know, learnt from adults, from TV, from movies, from other friends, from the newspapers, the news channels, books. How much of it is really me? How much of it is genuine? How much of me is genuine and not just a little carbon copy regurgitator of other people's stuff? I mean, I don't know who it was that said there's not an original thought, no such thing as an original thought, which I thought was quite original, actually, because whoever said that the first time was being really original, so that was an original thought, wasn't it? Whoever said there's no such thing as an original thought, that was an original thought. That's mind-blowing. Ooh. It's just, I've noticed that some people who have a belief system, it can be so nice. Such nice people, until you question their belief system and they turn. You know, it's sort of wow. And that is, when you know that about someone, it makes, in a way, makes it feel a little bit fake. Seems a little bit, because I think I used to believe that I was doing nice things because I was a Buddhist. And there's a thing called dana, which is basically giving. It's not about money, it's about giving of yourself. Some type of giving. And I went through a period when I actually believed that I was doing it because of Buddhism, because I wanted to be, it was part of the Buddhist process, part of the practice is to be kind to people and to help people. And I think later on I realised that actually wanting to help people was already there. It wasn't a Buddhist thing. It was in me already. And again, being around Buddhist people, Buddhists, for quite a few years, including working and living with them. Some, not all of them, but, a fair few. They're just humans. They've still got faults. They're still just like anyone else. But there is that. There's I don't know. There's a thing called equanimity, which I've seen people try to evolve within themselves. So the idea of not having any attachments to anybody, being kind to everyone, but not have any attachments, which in a way is, I don't know if that's what you would call an oxymoron, but to not care about someone, but to also care about them, is very, I don't know, I think I naturally have a little bit of that. I help people without thinking about them, without being involved in their lives. That's why I like the internet and why I like doing what I do, because it's a lot less emotional. It's not it's not the emotional drainage that dealing with an actual person in real time, in real life, is, like what I'm going through at the moment and what I've been through with Luke and stuff like that. This is very much it's different. It's being able to care but not be involved in the unnecessary stuff. It's kind of like being able to care but not care. But care. That's hard to, I'm not explaining it properly. Oh yeah, I think what it is I don't have a huge interest in people naturally. I don't naturally have an interest, in a sense. I care, but like with Uncle Sausages, I don't have the slightest bit of interest in anything that he's interested in. I'm not interested in his life. I've never really been interested in his day-to-day activities or what he's done in his life, nothing like that. I've got no interest. But when he needs my help, I'm there. And that gets my interest, trying to help him. When he needed my help last year with his flat, with his bathroom, with his bills, with his things like that, I'm there. And I'm on it, and I'm paying full attention. If he wants to talk about how he's feeling, or if he's, he's feeling a certain way, I'm there. He's got my attention because I will listen. Start talking about football, I'm gone. And in the past, I would say to him, I'm bored now. I don't want to listen. I told you, I've been very blatant with him. Like, I don't want to talk about sport or politics. And he's just laughed at me. I can't do that now because he's in hospital. So I kind of have to listen. But before he started, he realised the only way he could talk to me is if he had more real conversations. Because I couldn't add anything to rugby or golf, all these different names that he was talking about that I didn't know. We could talk about boxing, but he doesn't have the passion for boxing that I do. So he'll kind of mention a name, but he doesn't. It's just I guess it's kind of like a hobby to me, isn't it? So I know my boxing world. I don't know everyone in the boxing world, but I don't know anyone in the boxing world, not really. But as in who people are. But I'm fairly well versed. I know my way around. I may get lost, but I know my way back. If you know what I mean, I know where the exits are, where the entrances are, and I know where the toilets are. It's that kind of situation. What are you talking about? Exits, entrances, and toilets? 1 minute talking about boxing, now you're talking about like it's a big building. Yeah, that's what I guess I spent too much time going in that hospital and trying to figure my way around the place. Bearing in mind that Uncle Sausages has been moved 4 times now. Well, he's been in 4 different wards. So it's just trying to get... I couldn't even find my way to the first 2 wards now. I've got no idea where they were, even though I was visiting them there. I could still find my way back to the last one because he was there for quite a while. But it's starting to fade, as it were. It's weird. It's very strange. Such a different atmosphere, this place he's in now to the one he was in before. There was so much activity in the one before. This one's hardly anyone there. I'm not talking about patients. There's more patients in his room than before. But it's like 1 member of staff. And before there was like so many staff. There was always someone to call. Here people are calling and waiting. Which I'm kind of surprised about. It's like one person's doing everything, looking after 5 people. Which is a lot. I mean, it's okay. It's easy if they're asleep. But if more than one person needs your attention, you're just one person. Although I did speak to the nurse today, because he was in there the day before, not today, yesterday. He was in there the last time I was there. And I explained to him, let him know who I was. I'm down as Uncle Sausage's next of kin. There's 2 of us, me and Auntie Landlord. So we're both down as his next of kin on his medical thing. And I said to him, basically, Auntie Landlord is on holiday for a week. So in in a situation that you need to contact one of us, just contact me, please. Just in the next week, and I can get here. She's not going to be able to get here because she's in another country. And she would be first on the list normally. But on this occasion, just for the next 5 or 6 days, I think. Even though she's still contacting me to ask how he is. So I purposely didn't contact her because she's on holiday. So she's now on holiday and she's thinking about him, which is not probably a great way to spend a holiday. I don't mean that in a horrible way. I mean just if she needs to relax and enjoy herself if she can. Blimey. Blimey, blimey, blimey. So yeah, this isn't much of a Monday's Boring Objects. I guess this isn't a Monday's Boring Objects or a Trivia Tuesday. This is just, as a Tuesday, just me talking. I'm supposed to be going up to see him tomorrow. But I don't know how he is. Because yesterday, I don't know if I even mentioned it. I feel like I've already mentioned it. He found himself in a different part of the ward. He didn't know how he got there. Like this was the night before last, and he was thinking that, you know, stuff was going on and whatever. So if he calls me today and says if that's progressed, that situation's progressed, I might have to go up there today and see him, because I did seem to calm him down a bit. But other than that, I'll be going in tomorrow. So I can't do the everydays. Well, I can't afford to go in every day, but I can't handle every day. It's too much for me. It is as simple as that, really. I mean, I had the weekend off and I was pretty much in bed for the whole weekend nearly. I was just drained by the whole thing. Just tiring. But I'm feeling okay today, actually. Maybe it's because I know I don't have to go in there. And it's not just going in there and dealing with his situation, but it's all the other stuff connected. You know, to hospital. It's not somewhere I want to spend time. And I'm not really a big fan of where he is now, and that ward. There hasn't, the energy is not good in there. It's basically one of the discharge places, so it's just full of people that are waiting to get out. They're waiting to be moved. And there was one of the people was shouting at the nurse, shouting, you know, I've been here 3 weeks now, or 2 weeks now, and when am I going to get out? And they said, soon. He said, well, I've got my own home, why can't I go home? I said, well, you can't go home until we put a care package in place. Otherwise you'll just end up back in here, you know, like you have this time. And the patient was shouting like, why don't you just get it done now? And the said to him, because there's a waiting list, there's 10,000 people waiting for care packages. I don't know how useful that was to say that. I mean, for me, getting into a kind of a conversation like that with a very, very ill person is a bit like arguing with a child. I'm not saying they're children, but it's like, is it useful? Is it useful for you? Is it useful for the other person? Because I'm all about just being super gentle. And even though there may be 10,000 people waiting to get a care package to go home, that's not something that somebody who's wanting to go home needs to hear, I don't think. Because that makes it sound almost like he's not going to get to go home. 10,000 people's a lot. But then that's probably spread around the country. So there might only be 2 or 3 in this area that are ahead of him. You know, but I don't know if it was necessary. I noticed that the nurse is getting a little bit agitated by this particular person, because the same patient was shouting out, you can't run a ward, you couldn't even run a bath. And the nurse said, I can run a bath. And I thought, why are you even getting into a conversation with him? I can see the nurse was getting a bit agitated himself, which is a human being, you know. But at the same time, it just reminded me of those parents that will actually have a full-on argument with a toddler, and they end up looking like the toddler. They end up embarrassing themselves more than a toddler, because a toddler doesn't get embarrassed, and you expect a toddler to have a tantrum. Seeing an adult have a tantrum is just embarrassing, especially when it's an argument with a little child, a 3-year-old or 2-year-old. And when adults talk to little kids as if they're adults, as if they should be able to comprehend what they're saying, when they can't, and their brain's not developed enough to comprehend. You'd think, wouldn't you, that someone that's going to have a baby would at the very least read a book on child development. Just a book, one book, 100 pages. Just a basic book, you know, something that maybe takes 4 hours to read, 5 hours, 6 hours even, if you're a very slow reader like I am. Just read a book on child development, the stages. I don't know, it just seems like, I think if you bought a caravan, or you bought a car that had lots of gadgets, you'd look at the manual, wouldn't you? You want to say, how does it work? Or if you bought a drone, how do I organise, how do I work this thing? Or a microwave, or a new oven. You kind of want to know how it works. Yet people have babies and they don't seem to want to know how they work. Oh, it all come naturally. It is no. I know people that leave their kids with grandparents who go between, you know, shouting out verses of the Bible to the little kid and then ranting on about foreigners coming into the country. I mean, what's that kid supposed to think? You know, going from hate to, you must believe this is what Jesus said, must love each other, unless of course they're foreigners coming in on boats. It's like, make your mind up. baby. So yeah, just a book, a basic book. Oh, so I was at the hospital and I was waiting for a bus, and there was this woman on the phone shouting down the phone. She had this little kid who couldn't be more than 2 years old. He was walking around, but he's at that age where he just wanted to run away. And she was swearing and shouting down the phone at someone. And then she started shouting at him because he was walking off. And at one point, I'm like further away. I couldn't be too close to that kind of noise and that kind of person. And he started running away from her. And she's like wobbling towards him. Come back. So I was closer to him than she was. And I had to be careful because obviously I didn't want to put my hands on him. But at the same time, I didn't want him running in the road. So I kind of ran after him and managed just to jump in front of him. And at this point, he just turned around, laughed, and ran back to her. I mean, I don't think either of us could have really caught him if he was going full pelt. And she just walked off. And I'm like, okay. I don't necessarily need a thank you, but it'd be nice, it'd be pleasant, it'd be appropriate, possibly. I don't know, maybe. And I think she read my mind. She said, oh yeah, thanks. And then carried on walking. It's like, wow. I mean, maybe she was having a bad day. But if she's like that all the time, it's not her that's having a bad day, it's everyone else around her. It's like, wow, where do these people come from? How are they created? What factory are they built in? We need to get rid of those factories. We really do. We need to perhaps demolish them. The factories, that is. Stop more being built, possibly. I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe it's wrong as can be, to try and stop scum being born. Ooh, you can't say things like that. No, they're not. It's not when they're born, is it? It's how they're raised, baby. It's really weird. There's this, you can just tell the future. I know this person's got two parents, both wrong-uns. Both the parents are wrong-uns. And they got a kid. And you know that 3 years' time, that kid is going to be causing chaos. Absolute chaos. And it's almost, there's no way it's not going to happen. There's no way that kid is not going to go, hopefully temporarily, but the kid's going to go off the rails. What option does it have? It's all it's learned is from both parents and other relatives is a certain way of life, which is chaos. And I feel for it, I feel like, this is such a shame. But this kid's not going to really have a choice in it. It won't know any different. All I suppose all society can hope is that they get some help and manage to get their life back. And it's such a shame when you see like a kid who's 10 or 11 or whatever, and you know that they're such a good kid, but it's a year or two away. It's all going to go weird. Trust me, I know of what I speak. I went weird. I remember when I was a teenager, I absolutely adored my stepmum. But there was a period when I just could not stand her. Couldn't stand her. When I was 15, there was times when I couldn't even stand the sight of her. No reason for it. Well, apart from the fact that she got me, that she left she left the family home, and so I was no longer living in my bedroom, and I was sleeping on a floor, on a little bed thing in someone's living room with no stability. So see, yeah, I suppose that probably didn't help. But I had a real kind of like, couldn't even stand to talk to her. And I was like, why? I don't know. I even queried it myself. Like, I still loved her, I suppose, but I didn't like her. And it was weird because I never got a chance to really get back to that, because she was gone before I was, she was gone. So when I was 16 and a half, she moved away. So I never got to have like a nice relationship with her again as an adult. I never got to have a relationship with her as an adult. Oh well. Oh well, Vinny. Hey, it don't matter really, do it? No. No sausages. I've run out of food for Vinny. I'm going to have to sort something out. I might ask my neighbour downstairs if they've got any spare cat food. He loves cat food. Don't you, Vin? Yes, you do. If he goes anywhere where there's cats, he will go straight. Well, first of all, he'll look around for the cat, and he'll go straight for the cat bowl. He'll eat all the wet food and all dry food. Honestly, eat the whole thing. Because he's basically a cat. He's cat size, isn't he? Aren't you? You're cat size, Vinny. You're cat size. Cat size. Cat size? I haven't got cat size. I've got dog size. Stop it. You know what I mean. Cat size. No, I've got dog size. Stop it. Stop being pedantic. You're pedantic. Stop it. So I'm going to go. I'm just chatting absolute rubbish, aren't I? As per usual. Yes, I am. So, thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. And be gentle with yourself if you deserve to feel safe. Lots of love. Bye. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What?